So really, ain't nothing in this integration. I need some land. I need some jobs. My people need jobs. We need something so we can build and do for ourselves, and we must have some land. Now, what's your suggestion? What should be my movement? Integrate?
Yeah, equal rights in a mixed society.
In this society, where you still own the government, you still own the train station, the railroad plant, the lecture plant, these television cameras, you still make all the food, you control everything, and I'm like a leech on a dog's back. All I can do is just wait for you. I can't do nothing for myself. Integrating in your society don't mean I'm doing nothing for myself. You doing it all. I want to do something for myself. I'm tired of depending on you. You might get broke one day. Your stores might close. Your gas pumps might cut off again. I'm relying on you now. Can I have my own land?
Good evening. This is your man, HRap coming at you live and direct as I do every week. Thank you for tapping in to the end of the bench. And this is a few minutes of HRap as we do every week. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. Please hit that like, hit that share. Tell a friend to tap in. Please do so. Thank you to my parents, Dolores and John. Without them, there is no me, and you already know how that goes. Without them, me, podcast, and without you, I'm just talking to myself. So thank you. You can catch this live right now or whenever you watch. Good evening, good morning, good night, whatever time you watch it on the thaendofdabench.com. The thaendofdabench.com, that's my website. Please visit. Thank you. Please go visit. It's important that you do that. There it is on the screen, the thaendofdabench.com. I'm there. That's where you'll find more of my content. You'll find everything that I'm doing, as well as the video that I show every week. I show a video every day about prominent person or something in history that you need to know about, which brings me to the topic of the day. It's time for us to stand up. Stand up, black folk. Black folk, stand up. Because if we don't stand up, we're gonna continue to have these problems. See, we got to the point where we're so complacent and so satisfied with what has been given to us, we no longer work for what is owed to us. And what is owed to us is whatever we can dream of. If you can dream it, you can achieve it. I know that's cliche, and it seems as if, hey man, I heard that in high school, I heard that in elementary school, and I'm tired of people telling me that. But hey, here's the bottom line and the actual fact. If you dream it, you can have it. You come from a long line of people who have had things, lost things, regained things, who've been oppressed, who've been disrespected, denigrated, and disregarded. But guess what? Here we are still at the top of the food chain. We are not apex predators. We are creators. We're scientists. We're a loving, caring, cherishable community that has been duped into believing that they must integrate into a system that has never wanted them. And that's what I believe our problem is. See, we get into these things in which people in our community, what they do is say, hey, we got the right to do this and we got the right to do that, and we need this and we need that, but we really don't need these things. It's time for us to return, even at least, let's just focus on the American population of black people. I want to connect with every black person on the face of this earth, every person of African descent. If you look like me, I want to embrace you. I want to embrace all of humanity, but in order to get my community in order, we must embrace the people who look like us. That's it. That's all. That's the beginning. That's the middle and end of it. Once we get this thing in order, then we can get that thing in order. And as I said last week on my last episode, every time we get things in order, it benefits the entire country. What I want to do is bring up this. We are in the midst of a takeover of the government. You got people like Miss McMahon, who's totally unqualified. You got Dr. Oz, who's totally unqualified. You got RFK Jr., totally unqualified. You have the President of the United States, who's totally unqualified. We literally have Steve Harvey, Richard Dawson, Bob Barker running the country. He's a businessman. If you're uninformed enough, I almost said a negative thing. If you're uninformed enough to believe in the president and his business acumen, I think you need to do a little more research and find out who exactly you're following. You don't want to follow a fool into a den of wolves and be torn to shreds, and that's what it's looking like. See, we've fallen victim to America. we've fallen victim to America and the American way. As I stated on several occasions, what we've done is separate from who we are. The people who made something out of nothing, we took scraps and slop and made it a delicacy. Some people call it tripe. It's really chitlins. You know, we took pig ears. Now that's a delicacy. Pig knuckles, you know, pig snouts and things of that nature. We took the scraps and made them tasty and made them digestible. And now the entire world follows suit with us. We had less than, and now we have more than at this point. We've taken some of the greatest legal minds in the history of the world, which I'll touch on, some of the greatest scientists in the history of the world. I'll touch on that as well. What we have to do is understand the people who are in charge of the government are going to take every single solitary thing away from us that they can. This is why I'm going to continue every episode. I'm going to urge you to go to your pastor and say, hey, we need to have a Black History program on Saturday afternoons so we can educate our children on how powerful we are and how powerful the people that we come from are. And when you do that, you'll put yourself in a situation to whereas our children will understand that they come from greatness, that there isn't a glass ceiling. We can bust through the glass ceiling and we don't have to sit back and counter what other people have done. Take a page from the country of China. A lot of sanctions goes against China, and you got people people took away their TikTok, and it's only on a 90-day extension. You can't even download the app anymore because people are upset with the way the Chinese people. You know what a Chinese company did? They took all the older technology and studied it and built up new technology to whereas they're living technological wise, they're living in like 2040, and we're still in 2025. They're 15, 20, 30 years in front of us technology wise. When you look at other countries like Cuba, we're gonna put sanctions on you because you're a communist country. We're not gonna deal with you. And they're driving around with cars from 1950s and they got those cars running. But guess what? They have a literacy rate of 90%, of upper 90%. You can go be a doctor. You can get on a plane tonight and go to Cuba and become a doctor if you have the acumen to do so. They are creating things all over this world. Back in 2018 and 2019, the two largest technological advances made to the world came out of Nigeria and Ghana. You know, Nigeria and Ghana, we've been duped into believing these are poor, destitute countries where people don't know anything and they're just living in huts. No, that's not the case. These people are technically advanced. They are some of the most intelligent people in the world. And what we're going to do is take piecemeal the bits and pieces of the education that is provided to us and put ourselves back in that mind state of, hey, we have little, we have nothing, and we have scraps, but we will become kings again until up until and including the moment we take on that mentality. We will continue to struggle. We can no longer try to integrate into a snake pit. I tell you time and time again, the great thing about battling people like the people who are attempting to take over the country, because they didn't steal all this land and give it back. They didn't steal, I'm gonna say it again, they didn't steal this land and give it back. They don't want to release any power. They want total and utter power at all costs. They look at us, they see what we do, they see everything that we've accomplished, and they are envious of it. Am I talking about every person that is outside of our community? No, I'm not. But I'm talking about the people who are making a concerted effort to destroy the people of African descent that are in North America and worldwide. The Elon Musk, the presidents of the United States, the vice president of the United States, the people in Congress. If you are supporting his agenda, then you are directly on the attack with my community. And it's time for us to say, okay, fine. We've done it before. And I mentioned Friday, the Reconstruction period from 1865 to 1877, and then the Jim Crow, and guess what? We still became millionaires. We still became scientists. We still became some of the greatest law minds. We still became some of the greatest people and have one of the greatest communities in the history of the world. Understand, we went from 1865 with a 4% literacy rate to 1877 with an 82% literacy rate. Nobody in the history of this world has attached themselves to an academic and a mentally stimulating progressive move like that. And if we can do that under the tyranny of Jim Crow, under the tyranny of the government, under the tyranny of hate mongers and lynch mobs, and we can still rise, guess what? We don't have as many enemies, and we don't have such a deficit to fight from. So guess what that means? That means if you ain't on us like that, and we still have the mental capacity, the physical capacity, and the spiritual capacity to overcome anything, we can no longer sit back and wait on people to do right by us. What we're going to do is do right by ourselves. Now, Black History Time, I'm going to give you someone and proof positive. Y'all already know this is One Mic History by my man Country Boy on YouTube. ONEMIC History, Black History. And I want you to check it out. Go subscribe right now. Or what I actually want you to do is go to www.thaendofdabench.com. Name of the show, thaendofdabench.com, and check it out. Check out the video in its entirety. I know I'm only going to show a portion. Check out the videos in its entirety on my website. Country Boy gets the view. I get the site, and I need you to subscribe. 2 new people subscribe today. Thank you. Greatly appreciate it. We're going to do this video on Percy Julian. I'm going to show you who he is. There's going to be a brief synopsis of who he is, and I'll be back shortly introducing you to a great man in Black history, Percy Julian, an awesome inventor. Understand who he is, and then get the remaining story in a second.
Percy Julian was a pioneering chemist who, with only a 10th grade education, went on to earn his PhD. His research into chemical synthesis of medicinal drugs was used to treat glaucoma and arthritis, and although his race presented many challenges, he is regarded as one of the most influential chemists in American history. Welcome. This is One Mic Black History, and I'm your host, Country Boy. And this episode is a special collaboration with the Petri Dish Science Podcast.
Now, as you see, as you heard me say, go to www.thaendofdabench.com or go to One Mic History right here on YouTube. I need you to do both. Subscribe to him, subscribe to me, leave comments. See, the beauty in leaving a comment after when you get this. Even if you don't watch, hit like, leave a comment. It puts us at the end of the bench into the stratosphere. You're doing everything you can to support me. Hey, I don't have time to watch, but bam, you can check it out. Again, this is what, when you see people like Percy Julian, a 10th grade education and moved to a PhD. When you see people like Malcolm X, a 6th grade education and moved on to be one of the greatest orators in the history of the world. George Washington Carver, Booker T. Washington, Addie Malone, again, the person who put Madam C.J. Walker on, Charlotte Ray, the aforementioned Percy Julian, Constance Motley Baker. I want you to look these people up. See, it's important that we know more than Dr. King, Medgar Evers, Shirley Chisholm. We need to know those people. The great Coretta Scott King, the great Dr. Betty Shabazz. We need to know these people, but there are thousands, tens of thousands of people that look like you and I who did everything they could to get us in this position. When you talk about, what's her name? It's an attorney. I can't think of her name. James Boland is an attorney. When you talk about Pauli Murray was one of the greatest legal minds in the history of the United States. In the midst of segregation, where they were not only segregating against blacks, Black men, Black women, Black children, Black elders, they hated Black women much like they do right now. And guess what she did? Pauli Murray became one of the greatest legal minds in the United States of America. How do you do that? When you got people that invented the Ring doorbell, You got brothers who invented the video game cartridge that make it so you can have one console for several games. We are in our fingerprints and footprints on everything important. We have seen movements time and time again. I hear people say, hey man, well, why would God let this happen to us? Well, God sent you Marcus Garvey. As a matter of fact, let's go back. God sent you Frederick Douglass, that's why Black History Month is in February, to celebrate Black Negro History Week, to celebrate one Frederick Douglass. And then it turned into Black History Month. Something else they're going to try to do away with, Juneteenth. Something else they're going to try to do away with. But guess what? I'm glad. Because if our elders and your elders, my elders, your elders, and all of our elders start teaching our youth about our history, it is more impactful to hear our history come out of our mouths, because we're going to give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Again, evil comes right at you just like that. Evil shoots right at you. But guess what? The truth comes from all directions, and that's why the truth defeats evil at all times. When we want Polly Murray, you want your daughters to know who Polly Murray is. You want your daughters to know who Addie Malone is. You want your daughters to know who Fannie Lou Hamer is. You want your daughters to know that Coretta Scott King led a freedom march 4 days after the great Dr. Martin Luther King was assassinated, murdered. You want to know that Betty Shabazz, with 5 daughters, continued her education and went on to be Dr. Betty Shabazz. We need to let our children know that there's more than 10 people in Black history that were great. Again, there are tens and thousands of them. It's not only our great sister, Harriet Tubman, who helped emancipate our brothers and sisters. There were brothers and sisters all over this land. Teach your children who John Horse is. Teach your children who John Horse is. These are the people that this is why in about 5 days, we need to start celebrating our history. It is the celebration of our history. Black History Month, it's the celebration of our history. That is the jump off, just like your birthday. My birthday is August 6th. I don't just celebrate August 6th. I celebrate August 6th through the 5th every day. And that's when we need to celebrate Black history. When you know the greatness that you come from, no one can tell you anything. So when they take things from us and when they strip things from us, and oh no, we're going to boycott Target and we're going to boycott Walmart. No, we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is work at Walmart, learn the inner workings of Walmart, shop at Walmart, get the discounts, load up our refrigerators. And now we only shop. We become minimalists. We only purchase what we need versus what we want, up until and including the moment that our people get a Walmart, our people get an Amazon.com, our people get a Costco, our people get a Target. And then, and only then, can we over-index in things. I want you to start watching these programs. You know, I'm going to wait till Friday. I'm going to wait till Friday. I want you to continue to support me with a gigantic thank you. I want you to continue to subscribe and leave a comment if you agree. See, a lot of people that I talk to say, I don't agree with everything you said. If you agree with everything I said, you would be a stooge. You would be a dummy. I don't need you to agree. I need to have conversation with you. If you disagree, put it in the comments. Let's have discourse. And guess what? You might enlighten me, or I may give you more light on what I'm talking about. It is a community. It is time to galvanize. It's time to move forward just right. It is HRap B. I will be back tomorrow. 2 fingers, 1 word. Subscribe to the End of the Bench Media. Comment, like, share this. 2 fingers, 1 word.
And it is necessary for those people who rule over us and who rule over African people the world over, if those people are to stay in power, they must destroy our ability to love each other in a healthy sort of way. This is why